Whether you're looking for a Chevy car, truck, or SUV, go see my friends at Apple Chevy in Tinley Park. With over 500 new and used vehicles in stock, they have what you're looking for and at the lowest price possible. Go to applechevy.com. All right. Now, we were talking about this a little bit earlier on in the program. Big happenings, historic happenings in Havana, Cuba today as the American flag, flew over our embassy in Havana.
It was a big day.
And Secretary of State John Kerry was there. Jim Avila from ABC News was just with him, was with the Secretary of State. And Jim, you've been in Havana for the last couple of days covering this. First of all, let's start with what the Secretary told you. What kind of economic development did they really see happening here? Because this has to be a two-way street, doesn't it?
Well, I actually asked him about the two-way street and asked him what it is the United States gets from this relationship, because the U.S., Cuba's a small island off of our southern coast. It really means nothing to us economically. We've done fine without it. So what is the advantage here? And what he said was the problem with Cuba is it's been a thorn in our side with all of our trading partners in South America and all of Latin America, and that they've been urging the United States to repair the relationship with Cuba, to come out of the Cold War with Cuba, and that opens up markets that we do care about, Brazil, Argentina, other places. As far as what we're going to do here, we're going to travel here. It's a resort area with a lot of culture and a lot of music and fine architecture. The old cars, it's frozen in time. Mm-hmm. But other than that, they don't make anything here but rum and cigars.
So let's talk a little bit about what that's like now. You're down there covering this story, and are you finding Havana to be better than you expected, the same as you expected? What has been your personal observation here?
Well, I've been coming here for about 15 years, since before the first Pope John Paul II's visit here, and so I've been here about 30 times. So I can tell you that it goes up and down. And right now, because all of their benefactors, both Soviet Union is gone and Venezuela is in such trouble, that Cuba, again, its economy is in trouble. And there are shortages. People do stand in line. I was talking to a local here yesterday about the fact that they can't find beer. I mean, and they make beer in the country, but the grocery stores don't have it right now, and that there are shortages of beer, things like that. But what people don't realize too, Ro, I don't want to give people the wrong impression, is that there's a very big safety net here, and while people are not living high in the hog, everybody gets a little bit. And so you won't see, the homeless that we see in Chicago or New York or that kind of thing, and the destitute and the mentally ill. You don't see those folks on the street. But you also don't see the real rich that we have. There's a much bigger, lower middle class, is what I would call it, the sustainably poor.
Yeah. And now you're talking about tourism being the chief economic boom for them from American tourists coming down there. Can American tourists find obviously there's culture and, again, like you said, frozen in time, but can they find a tourism experience like they're finding in the rest of the Caribbean?
Here's why it's different than the rest of the Caribbean, is the culture and character. They like the same things we do. I mean, they're really good at music and art, and they're really good at baseball. They're really good at drinking and smoking cigars, and they have great beaches. So they have all those things, and it's the mystique of Americans aren't told they can't go anywhere very often. Okay, North Korea, I guess, and Iran. One of the two countries I can think of, maybe Saudi Arabia, you can't go to in general, not because of us, but because of them. But Cuba, here it is 90 miles away, and we've been told for 50 years you can't go there. And now you can't. That's the lure.
Yeah. The
problem that Cuba's going to have as far as tourism is concerned is you can get a bunch of Americans to come here one time, or are you going to get them to come back? Because the services are not as good, and the hotels are not as good, those type of things. And they're going to have to up their game on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, they're going to need Donald Trump down there. Maybe they should make Donald Trump president of there. It'd be much better than if we were president of here. All right, Jim, we can look for your work right now, coming up in just about 35 minutes on ABC, as you sat down with Secretary of State John Kerry in Havana today. Very historic day. Big story. Jim, thanks very much for taking time with us, man. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right.
Good to talk to Chicago.
Yeah, as always is.
Bye-bye.
Chicago's very own Jim Avila right there.
So they no beer, but they do have cigars and what else do they have there? Just cigars? Is that what we could?
They have cigars.
Enough
they have
food
rum
to survive on.
Right. That's and you know what? It's funny. I've talked to people who spend time down there. Mm. Americans have been going down there because a lot of Americans have been going there for years anyway. As is Jim. You know that you just had to get a visa and travel through a different country.
Right.
And actually, for a while, you could travel from the United States, too. But now it's going to be opening up, and you're going to get regular daily service from domestic carriers to take people down there. But you know, the food safety down there is not particularly great.
You would notice that.
I do know. I would notice
Tell
that.
me about the food safety.
The food safety.
You just went to Cuba. What was it like?
Well, I mean, that's an issue, right? I mean, you travel around the world, and sometimes, you know, people get sick in places, right? It used to not be so good in Mexico. Now it's very good in Mexico. So,
but doesn't that improve as the tourism improves? I mean, as people start going and the dollars come in and beaches are beautiful and you can have a nice cigar and no beer but a cigar.
Yes, but I don't want to have the sicky sick. I don't want the tummy.